So warning, don't throw the first bottle.
Do you have enough brandy?
17th, which is the 5th hole, is the party hole. It's really cool, so it's called the Lion's Den. The name that came up second is called the Pothole.
We've got Carol Lourens this morning here with us. So fortunate to have you, the golf tournament director for LIV, the upcoming event. Single-handedly the largest event to ever hit our shores. So welcome to the show this morning, and thank you so much for your time.
Shame, thank you. And oh my boy, it's my privilege and pleasure. And I want to just correct you very, very quickly, not on my pronunciation, my name, because that you got spot on.
Yes.
I think the biggest tournament in Africa.
Gotcha.
We definitely saying it's the biggest tournament in Africa.
Got you.
Yeah.
Fair correction.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, it's in a couple of weeks, so we really appreciate your time, because I can just imagine how many things are going on. And I'm sure after this 45 minutes, your phone's going to be hyped up with WhatsApps and communication. But how are you feeling currently? First, let's start there.
We good. And I need to go back to something that Chris Bentley has been amazing and a huge role model for me. And trust the process. You know, trust the process. They've done these tournaments throughout the world. There's 14 this year, and there's a huge process. There's a huge a number of staff who work from LIV who are actively involved, and we report back to them. They've all got their channels and their silos, and we're trusting the process. So everything is on track. Maybe we're 1 or 2 days behind with the build, with the weather, and also just the enormity of the event. But we're trusting the process, and we will be ready to hand over the golf course with all the hospitality facilities on the 13th of March. So that's our cut-off date. Yeah.
Listen, you've got a big role in your hands. South Africa is known to put up a show. You know, if you go to the World Cups that we've hosted here before, the reputation that it had at the time. So I've got no doubt that South Africans and all the operations people, obviously also global people coming in, it's all hands on deck, and we're going to pull off an amazing show. And so up front, we wish you all the best for the next few days and weeks before it all kicks off. And hopefully today we can give the golf community a bit of insight into what to expect, what's going on, and a little bit behind the scenes.
Yeah. Now, I can't wait to share, I think, my passion and the knowledge. People don't know. When I talk about what's happening at LIV and at Steyn City, people aren't aware of exactly what's happening. I mean, there's a tournament happening.
Yeah.
We know there's a concert happening, but there's so much more to that, and I can't wait to share all the details with everyone.
Okay, well, let's start with tournament director. Can you, in your own view, give us the insight as to what that role means?
Sure. So I was appointed by a company called 54, a Performance 54 in the UK, and when I received the phone call, they said they are the EMC for LIV Golf South Africa, and at that stage I didn't even know what the EMC meant. So I quickly Googled it, and it was the event management company. And then, you know, in those days, because it was so new to me, I was like, 54, but 54 is LIV, and, you know, where does 54 come from? And obviously being employed, that's another story, by 54, the 54, the name came from the perfect round. It's, you know, one under for every single hole. So hence there was 54. And I've been very fortunate in the last 15 years of my career with golf and the Sunshine Tour and with Fluid and the Sail and the Sunshine Ladies Tour to have headed up a lot of tournaments and to be tournament director for a lot of tournaments during the professional golf tournaments. So when I took on this role, it's another tournament, but it's so much more than that. It's you know, it falls across from the fan villages, which we can go into for detail, and the professional golf, and then the concert in the evenings, and then the ticket sales. When we first started doing the tournament and launching it, you know, let's go for 75,000. Then we pushed it to 80. Then we pushed it to 90, and now we've just sold over 91,000.
My word!
So we've increased it to 95, and that's our cutoff.
Okay.
So
Per day?
No, for the whole 4 days.
Okay.
How does that compare to in Adelaide?
So Adelaide is 100 and about 110.
Okay.
So Adelaide is a little bit bigger than us.
Okay.
But they say next year Adelaide's moving to another course, which is a bit smaller than us.
Okay.
So next year we're definitely going to be the biggest.
Okay.
Which we want to be the biggest next year. I mean, obviously it hasn't been announced and it's not finalised and confirmed it's happening next year, but we're hoping and praying that it's such a success, and it will definitely be confirmed for next year. So 25,000 per day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and 20,000 on Thursday.
My word.
Yeah.
And you are involved in all the pre-planning,
Correct.
all the execution,
Yeah.
every little thousands of details that needs to happen. And you are responsible until the final putt lands.
So again, trusting the process, there is such a huge organogram. I mean, they showed me the organogram, and there's me, the top tournament director, and then there's two sides. There's the ops side, which is led by a guy called Branden Cameron, who we call Ginge. He always laughs. He used to have ginger hair, now he's grey after the tournament. And he's our ops director. And there's a lady called Kate McLeod, who's actually from Cape Town. She's our guest experience director, and she's been involved in LIV for many, many years. But she always laughs. She says she's never done a tournament in South Africa before. So this is her first tournament in South Africa. And she's hugely experienced. And they lead a team of lots of people. So Ginge leads all the ops people, and they do all the building of the facilities and the parking and our ops compound and the media and the fan village. They do all that plotting of it. And Kate's team does all the, I'll say, the softer side, the VIPs, where the players eat, what the players eat, where we eat, the staff dining. So they do all the softer side as well as all the functions. So there's the Pro-Am function. There's a function on the Tuesday night, which is the welcome function at the Lagoon. There's a function on Wednesday, which is obviously the Pro-Am. And then there's a function called the Green Room afterwards, which Scott Neal, he hosts guests. There's the YPO. The YPO is the Young People's Organisation. They do a function on also Tuesday. So there's functions every single day on the lead up to the tournament. And Kate and her team are very involved. So it's quite different from me, because when I used to be, when I was leading on all the other tournaments, I was actively involved in what the players must eat and what colour's the carpet and, where do we put the sign. And now there's a team of people who every single person does something in that, like someone does the food and someone does the branding and someone does the the menus and someone does what the pictures look like. And so I need to trust the process again. I promise you I'm not going to say that word again.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying.
They all do it, and then I get daily reports back and I sit in a few meetings, but I'm not like as in detailed with all that their details. I'm more of an overarching position where I just get fed information where I need to get fed information. If there's a problem, that people let me know and I'll sort it out. So it's a very different role that I'm learning to not to interfere, I should say.
I tell you, Carol, in business that's very relatable, because as you get bigger and as you get process driven, you need to trust the process, because it's, even if your personality wants to affect every small detail, the reality of it is it's not possible. And you put executives in place and they execute.
And trust them,
And you just come together from an overarching perspective and make sure it comes together from a vision. And your vision probably also comes from a little bit of the, the LIV owners and the teams, and then the expectations from the players and the experience from the fans.
No, exactly. And I have to find myself stopping myself, because I tend to get involved too much, and it's a lesson that I need to learn, and it's a lesson I'm learning, because I've got bigger things to worry about than what colour the carpet is, or whether we're having orchids in the VIP or proteas.
To somebody else, that's the priority. Well, on that note, talking a little bit about your experience and what you take us just through the story of yourself a little bit, and how you got to this point, and start anywhere and finish anywhere.
I'd love to share my story. So I think when I was at school in the 80s, and there's not many career opportunities, and I became a teacher. I was qualified as a teacher, and I taught for quite a few years, and then I had children, and I left teaching and started my own business, which is called Playball Business, and it was lovely for the time I had kids. I eventually sold it, very successful, and I started playing golf, and I was friends with the lady called Gina from Cloud9 Golf, and she sort of taught me everything I need to know about doing golf tournaments. But this is amateur tournaments, and we did like really successful tournaments for ladies, and for we did the Peugeot Challenge Cup, and it was a whole probably about 10 years that I really learned how to do golf tournaments. And then I was approached by Sale in 2009 to come and work as a junior event manager, golf event manager. And I worked my way up into 2020. I was working with Thomas Apt. He was the HOD of Sale, and I was, as he always says, his right hand and left hand lady. And I worked with him for a long time as very close to Thomas. and everything I learned about where I am now, I mean, I can absolutely 100% say it was Thomas teaching me what the skills. And in 2020, he was approached to become the commissioner of the Sunshine Tour. And it was quite an interesting story, and I often relate the story around women in my position in a man's world, because golf is to a certain extent very, very man's world.
It's changing, but it
is changing, and I'm
yeah.
one of those people who are really flying their flag to change it. And it was like Thomas was saying, like, and it's nothing to do with Thomas. I mean, I adore him, and we got on so well. But like, who are we going to get, and which guy's going to do it? And there were lots of guys we spoke about and thought about who knew the business. And I remember one day saying to Thomas, like, what about me? Like, maybe I could, which is not my character to push myself like I am. And I think that day maybe sparked something in Thomas. And a few months later, I got a very serious meeting request from our CEO, Jaco, and our FD and Thomas to say, please, can we meet them? And they offered me the position of HOD at Sale, at Fluid those days.
There's a lesson there.
Yeah, it was a big lesson for me. And it was amazing. We grew the team. There were probably like 6-7 of us in the beginning. And with Thomas growing the tour, we also obviously grew ourselves at Sale or Fluid. And when I left, there were about 13, 14 people in the golf division, doing all the Sunshine Ladies Tour tournaments, most of the Sunshine Men's tournaments, and then a lot of the amateurs. We Sale and Fluid were very involved with BMW and Vodacom, and did all their golf as well.
And the origins of Vodacom Origins and etc.
Correct, yeah.
And the BMW Invitational.
That's it, and the BMW Golf Cup. And I was also I'm just going to go back one step further. Is that there was nothing for ladies golf, no ladies Sunshine Ladies Tour professional golf. And in 2012, Thomas and I and a lady Polly from the Sunshine Tour, we said, how do we get ladies professional golf back into South Africa? And we went to the Sunshine Tour and said, could you, be big brother and just sort of give us your stamp of approval? So in 2013, we launched the Sunshine Ladies Tour, 6 tiny little tournaments. I think we paid for 200,000 Rand per tournament. And then when Polly left, she was sort of tournament director. She looked after them all. And then she left also in the early 2021, 22. She went to LET, the Ladies European Tour. I sort of got to wear another hat, and I sort of got to look after the Sunshine Ladies Tour. Okay. Which I love doing, and it was my passion. There obviously not enough money, is it, for men? It's a brand new tour. The men's tours have been going for years and years. Yeah. The ladies is so small.
The commercialization
100%,
wasn't
yeah.
ready.
So it wasn't there. So there was no money to put like a commission or whatever in. But I loved it, and it was a great pleasure for me to grow the Sunshine Ladies Tour, and to have the support of Investec and all the cities, the city of Cape Town, the city of Joburg, the city of Pretoria. So when I got a phone call from 54 towards the end of July, saying that they're looking for a tournament director, they were appointed the EMC and looking for a tournament director of South Africa, I was like, I really love my job and I really love what I do. And, so anyway, I chatted a little bit further, and the opportunity was, it was something that I couldn't say no to. Yeah. It was an opportunity to lead on the biggest golf tournament in South Africa, and I say Africa. Yeah. And then it was like a 6-month lead, or a 6-month build. And then they said then they'd like me to go to the UK and run some ladies golf tournaments in the UK.
Okay. So it's an interview process?
Exactly. No. Okay. So this was
like a hands-on interview.
So this was. I think they're trying to sell it to me.
Got you.
And and come to the UK and learn professional paddle, how to do paddle tournaments, polo tournaments, and a little bit of ladies professional golf. So 6 months in South Africa, 6 months in the UK. But this is sounding like really something I should look at. So
and exciting.
It was exciting, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought. I spoke to Thomas, I spoke to Jaco. I obviously was very conflicted because of my passion and love for the tour, and I just thought I had to take a chance on me, and so lots of tears. I resigned, and I started on the 15th of September working for 54 and becoming the tournament director of LIV Golf South Africa.
That's so interesting, Carol. But I didn't know you had to resign the position.
Yes.
So you couldn't do all of them?
With Sale?
Yeah, and you can't do LIV and
No, so it's a long story.
Yeah.
But I had to resign to become the tournament director.
Okay.
We did the LIV and 54 wanted to appoint a South African company to help me and help 54 and LIV run the tournament. So we had lots and lots of, I think there were about 6 or 7 companies who tendered to become the local EMC.
Yeah.
And SAIL was appointed.
Gotcha.
So it's really cool for me is that I'm working with all my colleagues.
Gotcha.
I'm working with the people I know.
There's continuity about it.
Correct. In SAIL and Fluid, I mean, it is Fluid's the golf side, and SAIL is the big brother company. They are the biggest golf agency in South Africa, and they just know everything and they know what to do. So it's wonderful working with them. Interesting enough is that because this is the busy time for the tour as well, is that the golf team is not working so much within the tournament.
Gotcha.
The event management, the event management companies, there's a lot of people from that side.
Okay.
The hospitality division, there's a lot of people from that side because it's not just golf.
Gotcha.
There's a very few small people of golf, and the rest is all the other people at SAIL who are working with us. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing all of that. They referred to you as the change agent.
They did. And I did see that, and I think it was because I'm really trying to have a voice for ladies. And I'll tell you a very interesting story which happened to me last week, Tuesday. So last week, Tuesday, the Deputy Sports Minister, she wanted to be shown around and she wanted to meet the team and she wanted to know what LIV is about. I mean, obviously the Sports Minister, Mackenzie, he's very, very passionate about it.
Yeah.
But the Deputy Sports Minister, Mabe, M-A-B-E, I think it's pronounced Mabe, she wanted to know about LIV. So she came to the boardroom at Steyn City with her chief of staff and her, quite a few of her team, and we took her through the whole entire LIV process and what the LIV is about. And she was like so interesting, and she's so fascinated, and she can't wait to be here. And she was like really showing her joy and excitement of this tournament. So she said to me, "What are you doing about ladies, though?" So I said to her, "Ma'am, this tournament is about the men, and it's our first year.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we get it right.
Yeah,
and I'm very passionate about the ladies and professional ladies golf, and that is something we're definitely going to look at in the future. But at the moment, I need to concentrate on this tournament." So she almost she didn't quite hit the table, but she almost she said to me, "Carol, you've got a voice in this room, and you've got a voice, and I want you to never ever say that again." She said, "You must use that voice."
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't taken aback, but maybe I was a little bit like, oh, I've just
good observation.
offended this woman. And I did apologize to her afterwards, and she said to me, there's a junior tournament, which I'll talk about just now.
Yeah.
And she says, "I want us to do a ladies tournament." And she said, "Can we not do it at Steyn City beforehand?" I said, "No, well, the course is closed from yesterday." So, let me talk about the junior tournament a little bit. So GPG are very keen. GPG, Gauteng Provincial Government, are very excited about LIV, obviously with the Premier and the Sports Minister. And they've thrown their huge weight around us. So they've given us support with the traffic and the roads and the pick it up and the plants and the landscaping and, cleaning the river. Yeah. So they are hugely supportive. And GPG is very actively involved in golf with the Sunshine Tour and South African Golf Development Board. And so they said they want to do something for juniors. So we are doing, in conjunction with GPG and DSAC, which is Department of Sports, Arts and Recreation, we're doing a junior tournament on the 15th of March at Soweto Country Club. So we obviously had to think how we're going to do this tournament, and it's going to be done purely on handicap, so you have to have a handicap. And we also, with the GPG, are very involved with GDE, Gauteng Department of Education, and they're getting all the kids who play golf at schools, at the leagues. And so those kids, the best of those kids in all the areas, are going to come play in the tournament in Soweto on the 15th.
That's brilliant.
So, and then linked to that, every player who comes and plays will get tickets to golf on Thursday.
Got you.
Yeah. And then so what we're going to do is we're meeting the Deputy Minister tomorrow. I've just seen an email come through about the ladies tournament, and we're hosting that on the afternoon of the 15th.
Got you.
So it's going to be mirrored to LIV.
Yep.
It's going to have the shotgun start. It's going to have the loud music for the morning and the afternoons.
Okay.
It's a very small tournament compared to what LIV is about, but there's something.
There's a start.
There's something, and it's a start.
Is that going to be the Sunshine Tour ladies?
No, it's not professionals.
It's not
It's going to be
professionals.
just amateurs.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm a guest speaker for 10 minutes at that event. Do you work with Jimmy Headbush on a lot of that with Soweto Golf Course?
I know Jimmy very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know Jimmy very well.
Yeah, we're playing in the pro-am of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fortunate
and
to get an invite.
Yeah, no, sure. And then what we're doing as well to thank Soweto Country Club for giving up their course for the day is we're also giving all members. I hope they know this. They don't know. They will know soon. But we have shared the information. So we're going to give all members of Soweto Country Club tickets to come watch on Thursday as well.
Oh, at LIV
really-
event.
And live the
That's
tournament.
really cool.
Oh, that's
just
awesome.
to thank them for giving up their course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, that's an angle and a culture that it's just incredible. And
Yeah.
I don't, before we just go into the main questions, on the ladies' side, because Arthur and I have been at a Sunshine Tour event, or was it? It was at Blair Athol.
It was that late platinum.
Platinum.
Northern Platinum.
Yes.
So I was very proud to get that tournament going. It was amazing.
Yes, it was incredible.
yeah.
I mean, we played in it on the day. It was
Yeah.
incredible. The prices were even up that night.
Yeah.
Sporadically so.
Yeah.
But my question there to you is because a lot of the golfers that watch the ladies' tours is men. It's a big percentage
Love
of the
watching
people.
ladies,
We
yeah.
love watching
Yeah.
it. And I think men are a big supporter on
Yeah.
it. But where do you find yourself now? Let's sort of say from 2020, 2013, I know it's when it started, but where do you think the women's space of golf is right now? Because an interesting stat of the LIV Tour is that 35% of the people that come there is non-golfers, women,
Correct.
just viewers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm obviously for now where I am in my life and my position being the tournament director of LIV, watching the Sunshine Ladies Tour from afar, and we have to have the sponsors like the Investec, like the Northern Platinum,
Okay.
like the City of Cape Town, like the City of Joburg. I mean, the Joburg Ladies Open is also a co-sanctioned event.
Yep.
And it's just getting those sponsors on board and getting more and more sponsors. I mean, when I left the Sunshine Ladies Tour, we had 8 events, but just from January to March and April.
Yeah.
And then our very good ladies go overseas and they play in Europe in the summer.
Yep.
And there's nothing left for our girls who need to get practice time on the
Yep.
golf courses. So that was one of my dreams and my aspirations, was to try and get play like at least once a month.
Yep.
Get something for them to play in. And again, this is where Thomas comes into it, and sponsors as well, is that we created quite a few mixed tournaments.
Yeah.
So the mixed tournaments gave the girls opportunities who are still here
Yep.
and learning the trade to play professional golf at least once a month.
Yeah.
Within the Sunshine Tour.
Correct, under the Sunshine Tour banner. And then obviously they set the field up a little bit. It's not easier because that's not definitely the right way, but just a little bit shorter.
Yep.
So the girls, will both be playing a 7-iron in,
Gotcha.
with the men as well. So that's it's gonna keep growing and growing. It has
Yeah.
to. I mean, it is such a, as you said, more men are watching the game.
Yeah.
And it's such a interesting space we find
Yeah.
ourselves in with ladies. Yeah.
I tell you what, Carol, just an observation quickly. The ladies put an incredible amount of effort with the sponsors on the day.
Yeah.
Incredibly engaging. And,
This is at Northern, right?
This was
Yeah.
at Northern. I mean, the amount of effort, they stayed till late. Really wanted
Yeah.
to thank everybody for their participation. So if you are a sponsor, you're definitely getting a lot of road when it comes to the ladies tour, and especially the ladies golfers and the professional, because a lot of them, and I don't think people always realize, have to do deal incomes.
Yeah.
Play golf, beat the pro as an example
Yeah.
with promo days. Some of them have actually jobs sometimes in the
Yeah.
week, just to get a bit of an income
Yeah.
in that. So myself and Arthur, are an incredibly large supporter, and not just in words,
Yeah.
when it comes to supporting the golfers.
Yeah, and also what's really cool with pro-ams with ladies is that you're playing with the same team 99% of the time as the ladies. So, that's a huge, already it's great to see how far you drive as compared to them.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
The other thing is also South African women's golf are producing world beaters.
No, 100%.
So it's getting to a space where it's so positive. We sort of just need to ride that wave and give more opportunity.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a major champion now recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cassandra is also doing a really
She's
good
breaking
job. And I
through.
think
Yeah.
a lot of these girls are good, but I don't think they're playing enough.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whether it's consistency or that pressure. Or when I was on tour, and when I was on the Sunshine Tour, it was a different tour to what it is now. Everyone's in the field during the week, obviously not the SA Open and Joburg, but the normal regular events, we still had pre-queues for every single tournament. And you feel like time's running out, because if you're not pre-queuing, you're missing out, and I'm sure the ladies also feel like that in a perspective, because you feel like time's running out. I've only got 6 or 8 events to make money for the year. Or to give me opportunity to go to a Q school and. So, but ladies golf is in a good space. I think we just need to ride it a bit more and throw it out there.
Yeah, because their cost is no different to a man travelling.
No, absolutely.
No, 100% not.
So, Carol, people must have never seen behind the scenes of a golf tournament on this scale. What does a golf tournament actually do in the weeks leading up to an event like this? And what is unique about LIV Golf?
So I've never seen something as big as this before. You know, when people come and we have meetings, and I deliberately, prior or before or after the meeting, will go and take them out. I mean, I've got so much, you know, a friend of mine said to me, Carol, she's never met anyone who's got 27 hours in a day.
Gotcha.
And I will find time to take those sponsors or take those people out on the course and show them what the 1st and the 18th looks like.
Okay.
Because, you know, it's not just, and the reason why I do that is I want them to go back home and tell their friends, tell their family, you can't believe what this tournament's like.
Yeah,
you cannot believe what's
excited.
happening. And not only that, is that we are so used to, like, you know, the other tournaments in South Africa, the hospitality facilities, they are beautiful. They, you know, the hospitality facility, they've got amazing food, and the decor's great inside, and they've got a veranda and they watch golf. The facilities at the LIV tournament are next level. There's step down balconies, you know, all the way. So on the first tee box, there's no seats. It's just tiered standing with drink rails, so people can put their drinks down, and then there's bars behind. You know, so it's to try and get as many people around, and the tee box is right here. It's right here. And I'll tell you a funny little story about the party hole next.
Yeah.
But to just have that closeness. But what I was going to say before I tell you the story about the potty hole is that it's because it's a whole drinking, eating, music. It's loud. It's loud. It's right in your face. We've got signs that said "You throw, you go." So everywhere there's signs that say. So if you start throwing your water bottles, or obviously you can't have bottled
What
bottles.
happens if there's a hole in one though, surely?
Well, I think that's a little bit different.
Definitely,
And they're setting up the course. I mean, I don't have anything to do with the golf course. I do everything behind the ropes.
Yes.
So, you know, so obviously LIV and all those guys, they set the golf course up. I have nothing to do with the golf course. So I always say I'll do everything outside the ropes. And so, you know, there's signs, and it's very serious. You know, you throw, you go.
Yeah.
And I've never in my life ever seen so many security guards and volunteers. I mean, volunteers, I'm used to 40, 50 volunteers max. We've closed at 800 volunteers online with a huge waiting list. And there are volunteers throughout the whole field. So you throw, you go. So warning, don't throw the first bottle.
Gotcha.
But there's a really cool party hole, which is the 17th. So LIV is known for its party hole. So for those who are not too sure or haven't heard, is we've changed the whole golf course around. So the 18th, the traditional 18th at Steyn City, is now the 12th hole. And the 7th hole at Steyn City is the first hole. It's a long drivable par 4 down the hill.
Yeah.
And then the 18th par, the 6th hole, the 18th par 5 is the 18th. Sorry, yeah, the 6th hole is the 18th hole. And so obviously go back, the 5th is the 17th.
So the par 5 is the 18th.
18th, correct, yeah. And the reason we did that is because, and again, it's Chris and Ross and all the guys that came out from LIV. They took helicopters, they looked at the space. There's so much space at the top of Steyn City that hasn't been built yet. So that's where the parking is, that's where the fan village is, and I'll talk about the parking just now, and the fan village.
We'll go through that
and
as well,
So that's where all that stuff, so there's so much space, so it just makes sense. Around the clubhouse, there's not enough space to create an 18th, like we need an 18th. So the 17th, which is the 5th hole, is the party hole. It's built like there's like there's the left and right of the tee box. The tee box, I think, is playing like off the ladies' tee, 137. They want it close. They want it to be exciting. They want to make hole-in-ones.
So that one's also drivable.
No, it's a par 3. It's close.
17.
Yeah, and it's their 5th.
Okay.
I get what
they're
got you. Not the actual 17.
Yeah. So it's like there's 2 structures like this, and then there's all VIP by hospitality. Then behind the tee box there's this huge LED screen and a DJ, and it's loud. And again, around the green there's like lots of facilities, hospitality facilities. So they did a competition to say, on a social media competition, what should the 17th hole be called?
Okay.
Saw that.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So it's called the Lion's Den,
Okay.
which is a really cool name.
name.
But I always laugh. I say the name that came up second is called the Pothole, and I thought that is so. I mean, we couldn't call it the Pothole, but it's so clever that someone thought of that, and that came up as what we could have, what came second best as to what do we call the party hole.
And South Africans would relate to that name.
100%, yeah.
And tell me, with all of this going on, what's the biggest logistical nightmare you've dealt with so far?
Sure, it's a lot of everything.
Okay, I get that.
It's the number of facilities, the number of VIP facilities. Not 1, 2, 3. It's we've got about 12, I think, around the course.
Okay.
Steyn City is very widespread. So how to get the spectators and the golfers around the golf course when there's literally one bridge across the Yuxkay.
Yeah.
So that was a huge. We spent many hours like, do we build a bridge over the bridge? Anyway, so where we've come to now is we just have to marshal properly and get the players across, but that's like the only way to get the players from this side of the course to that side. And then also the slope of the land. So the slope of the land from the top where we are in the fan village, it's really slopey.
Yeah.
And we thought, we'll just put benches and tables and chairs and people can sit like a little bit of an angle. But LIV does everything like proper, really, really proper. And it wouldn't have been right for the spectators. Who it's not cheap to come, and it's not stupid money if you compared, going to rugby matches and whatever that level, and you're getting your concert and the golf. But it is decent money they're paying out, and so we built in the fan village like lots of scaff platforms with a cover.
Okay.
So people can go and get their food, get their drinks, and go and sit on those scaff platforms and be undercover and sitting level. They're not sitting at a slope. So I think that the slope of the land,
the attention to detail is incredible.
It's incredible, and it's beautiful. And then also because we're using land that's not been looked after, it hasn't been. I mean, obviously Steyn City Steyn City is I mean, it's the most beautiful golf course, and all the areas around. And I'll talk about the art and all that just now. But that area has just been allocated as land to be sold soon, but not now.
Got you.
So Steyn City will be incredible with watering the area for the concert. There's a huge area for the concert at the top there, and the fan villages as well. So, it's very hot, and then it rains, and then we're very hot, and then we have to water, and then we put sand on to try and flatten it, and then the rain comes and washes all the the sand away. So we are dealing with that, but we're not leaving it. We got landscapers, and we're going to put bark chip, we're going to put pebbles, we're going to make it look pretty now, because we're hoping the grass would be growing more than it is.
Got you.
So we're going to make sure the fan village is beautiful. So for us, when LIV does it, they do it properly.
Yeah.
And we really are learning that.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's world class.
And how do you balance to deliver a global product that's uniquely South African experience, but have that balance of the precision standards of LIV Golf?
So it's so interesting you ask that question. I love it because we have so many meetings to LIV, and this is how they want things. Okay. However, we bring in flavors of South Africa, and that's what and Kate being Kate, and she's done so many tournaments with LIV, and she knows what LIV want. But like with us being the South African flavor, we're gonna definitely bring in the softer. I don't really want to say what they are because you'll see them, but there are lots of softer flavors that bring in the South African influence into the LIV tournament. And just like one thing I'd like to talk about just very briefly is about South Africa, is that the shotgun starts is something very different in South Africa. And I also learned, shotgun start, we all know what it is, and off they go and play for 4.5 hours. But the shotgun start is incredible Like, it's not just bang and they all go. And, you know, so even that on, you know, each day, we've got a choir on the first day. I'm not going to let out the secret who the choir is. On the second day,
I think I might have some suspicions.
Yeah. So I don't think you will. It's quite interesting.
Okay.
I might tell you afterwards.
Okay.
And then, like, the second day, we you know, got, like, you know, local Zulu dancers, and then we got, you know, impies, and we got drummers. So each day at the shotgun start, we've got some sort of flavour of South Africa or so, which just goes to show, like, the golfers going to be amazed, and the public, and they do film the shotgun starts, and they do show it, and there's also these things happening in the sky as well, which I'm not going to talk about too much, but there's such a big like buzz around
proper
the shotgun
start.
proper shotgun start.
Yeah.
Proudly South African.
And it's very proudly South Africa.
I love that, and I don't want to talk on your behalf there, but what's incredible there is I want golfers to really take a moment there. It's only 4.5 hours to 5 hours of golf.
Yeah.
So it's not the traditional start at 7 o'clock in the morning, potentially finishing at 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. That's why you have to be there from the moment it starts in the morning.
Yeah.
Because before you know it, the golf's going to be done,
Yeah.
and you have to experience the in-between.
Yeah. So so I'm saying that's why, you know, they have this fan village, this incredible fan village. And what I'd like to do, if I can do this,
of course you do.
is almost go back one step back, because, like, don't be late, obviously, because you're going to miss it.
Yeah.
But, you know, so with Steyn City, there's, like, only sort of William Nicol and Winnie Mandela Drive and Cedar Avenue coming in. There's only 2 entrances. So we've done a thing with Park and Ride, and all the tickets are available, the SA Park and Ride. And we're encouraging people, please use the Park and Ride. There's no other way to get in.
Where's the Park and Ride going to be?
So it's there's 8 or 7 or 8 spots. There's Sandton, there's Monte Casino, there's Greenstone Mall, there's the one in the West Rand, I can't remember what it is. There's Menlyn Park. There's all those. There's 7 or 8 park and rides. Sandton one, we work with AXA around the GPG. They put us in touch with AXA. AXA said to us that all local flights are full over the weekend. So what they're encouraging everyone to do is, you know, when they come from Cape Town or Durban, catch the car train to Sandton and catch the park and ride from Sandton to Steyn City. We're starting our first park and ride from 8 o'clock.
Okay.
The gates open 9:30.
Okay.
But we open the gates to the golf.
Yeah.
But we open the gates at 8:30.
Okay.
Because we want everyone in as quickly as we can, and to queue to get into the golf.
Yeah.
We've got a huge queuing area where there's going to be music, and there's going to be face painting for the kids, and there's going to be all things happening in along the waiting for the entrance. You know, so we're not going to open the gates at 9 o'clock and say, you know, everyone must wait outside.
Yeah.
We're encouraging people to come in, and we're encouraging people to come earlier. Use the park and rides. We have obviously got Ubers and Bolts. We got a drop-off area at the Steyn City School.
Okay.
They've been incredible to let us have the school for the drop-offs.
Okay.
And then we are selling a few VIP hospitality tickets inside for people who bought their tickets already. But the main thing is use the park and ride and come early.
Okay.
And then back to the day. You know, that day, get there early, get there 8:30, 9 o'clock. The fan village is jammed, packed with activations. I've never in my life, we used to do like 2 or 3. I've never in my life seen the quality of these activations. And there's something for kids and for parents and for adults and for men and for women. There's a thing called family services if moms have to go and breastfeed. If there's autistic children who the noise is too loud for them, they go into these like little booths and they calm them down. They've got a whole kids zone. It's so cool. They've got a long putt, which we're calling the Vaal River putt. You know, which is such a clever name. So it's a long putt. There's a little putt area. There's a huge session stage, and there's a new thing called Savor, which is a food festival. Okay. So throughout the day, and not just when the golfers, not from like say 9 to 12 before the shotgun start, throughout the whole day. So if you tired of watching golf and you want to come and have a little bit of drink and eat and then go back to golf, we have food sort of master chef celebrities conducting lessons on how to cook. We also, for the first time ever, are doing the art of golf. So we're having we're having an art festival, and we're very proud with Steyn City as well. is all these statues they've got around, those who played golf at Steyn City.
You'll know.
And we see those statues all the time. I mean, I'm a golfer and I see those statues, but I don't really pay much attention. Now that I'm doing this art of golf with a team, it's like, well, let's QR code these statues, and let's, as the spectators walk around, let them learn about the statues on the golf course as well. So we've got a really cool art of golf activation that goes with the actual with the tournament as well. So that all takes place in the fan village, and then obviously it's the golf, and it's the loudness, and it's the music, and it's the fun of the golf and the power techniques, whatever. And then of course what people want to do afterwards is let's have a concert.
Yeah.
So from 5 to 7 every night there's a concert, and I mean, I'm going to show my age and my ignorance. When I heard it was Calvin Harris, I laughed. I was like, okay, well, but I know who he is now. I've done my homework. He's huge, and he's bringing people as well. Yeah. And Black Coffee and Goldfish. So, that concert is just another way to make the day a longer day for the spectators. Yeah. So
then after 7.
After 7, you're out of there.
Okay.
Gates are closed by 8.
Okay.
It's quite interesting. So when the last ball is dropped, 4:45, that facility's closed, and everyone gets moved up. Even the VIPs, they get moved up to the concert. Okay. You obviously can go home if you want to. Yeah. The park and rides will be available from whenever. 7 o'clock when the concert's over, off you go, and we see you again the next day.
So just a small detail there. The bus fares. Do people, when let's say you want to leave halfway through the day, and I hope there's nobody here, but are they permanently available, or is there set times?
No, so we say the park and rides will run on the hour every hour. Okay. However, their bus is waiting. Got you. And if the bus is half full, the bus will go. Okay. And if you want to go, you're not feeling well, whatever you want to go, there's always buses available. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to check that.
What time does shotgun start, by the way?
12:15.
12:15. Yeah, every day. Yeah. You all in the past, you have talked about the golf as a driving social economic impact, hiring local vendors, upskilling local youth, and so on. What are the most proud form of the community impact perspective for you on this event?
So we came into Steyn City not knowing what Steyn City does to the community of Deep Split. Yeah. So I think I'm actually going to them on Thursday to go and meet someone. I'll explain what that is about. They feed about 3,000 kids a day. Steyn City themselves. So the Southern Guards have got the academy going, which we launched about 2 weeks ago, where they're going to coach the 40 kids from Deep Split, and they're going to bring those kids to Steyn City every day. Twice a week, give them food, give them clothing as well. And it's not only about finding the next superstar, it's also giving them life skills and seeing that they can have a career in golf. It doesn't have to be playing golf, it being a career like myself. So that's a legacy that we're very proud of, that that we're backing on with Steyn City. And not only that, we've also employed the companies, like the security companies, the cleaning companies, those ones. We've almost put as part of their must is they have to employ the unemployed youth or unemployed people at Deep Split. Okay. So the cleaning company has employed at least 80 people. The security company has also employed. There's quite a few they're training up. So we're insisting that there are jobs created at Deep Split as well. Yeah. So it's a little bit, but I promise you, for that person who gets paid for the week, the food, the drinks, the clothing, the upskilling, so that's just something we're really, really proud of. Minister Mackenzie also said we must take the golf to Deep Split. Okay. So we've hired a big screen, and that's a meeting on Thursday I'm going to. We're going to go to a school and use their field and put this big screen up so the the community can watch it. Okay. So that's something we also really excited to bring the golf to the community. And then another legacy which we very grateful for with MoreCorp and the world of golf is that we're opening up from Thursday to Sunday free golf for all. Those who want to learn how to play golf. They've never had a lesson before ever. They don't know how to have a lesson. They don't know where to go. So from Thursday to Sunday, whether you're a female, male, junior, or someone who's played golf for years but they've never had a bunker lesson, for example. So we have a platform from Thursday to Sunday. It's going to be launched this week sometime. You book your free lesson. And then not only that, you also get access to the world of golf for 4 days.
Gotcha.
And then what happens is more corp are also putting together a big screen TV to also watch the golf, but you can hit balls while you're watching the golf, and that's all for free as well. So LIV are paying for it, but it's just taking golf to whoever wants to learn to play golf over that week.
Yeah.
And then obviously what they do with that, it's on them. Yeah.
And I mean, that's on the social impact, but I mean, it's also going to be incredible for the vendors.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
the amount of people, the amount of food that they have to prepare,
Huge.
people
Yeah.
that have, were putting up their brands and stuff
Yeah.
there. I mean, the impact is just phenomenal. The hotels around the area, the
We all
restaurants.
sold out.
I mean,
Yeah.
we live and operate in this area, and the restaurants' bookings are
Yeah.
just, it's something that some of them have had to lift their capacity in
Correct.
order to accommodate.
Yeah. You know, something which I didn't talk about is that because of the vastness of Steyn City, we've created 6 general, so spectators are called GA, general
Yeah, okay.
access GAs, and we've created 6 GA hubs. And at every hub, we've got obviously food and drinks, but
Yeah.
like not just 1 or 2 vendors, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Something that LIV have implemented to us, which again, it's incredible just to like, okay, well, we need to put toilets everywhere. They said, no, don't put toilets everywhere because, you know, the queuing time can't be more than 12 minutes, say, for a
Okay.
hamburger or a toilet.
Okay.
So they'd rather have like 4 or 6 big areas
Yeah.
where there's 30 toilets
Got you.
than lots of little 4s and 6s.
Got you.
So, you know, so we got these 6 GA hubs over and above the fan mile or the fan village where people can eat and drink and obviously go to the loo. But we've created these amazing hubs where there's so much food and drinks available as well.
Okay, so there will be no
yeah.
there will be plenty to
There'll be
take
plenty.
from.
There'll be plenty. And hopefully you don't queue for more than 12 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, 12 minutes in the bigger scheme of things
Yeah.
is an absolutely,
Yeah.
and also, you know, people on the day just, you know, take a mindset you there
Yeah.
for the day.
Yeah.
You know, to enjoy it and take it all in. There's no different for me than going to a cricket match.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
just a lot more excitement, a lot more things and new things that nobody's ever
Yeah.
seen in South Africa.
100%.
From an event director standpoint, what's the biggest pressure point for you once the players arrive on site?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
That's such an interesting question. I don't know yet.
Okay.
As sometimes when I talk or do interviews, whatever, I sometimes say like, you know, I don't know what I don't know.
Okay.
And I think that is, I really don't know. I mean, obviously I've heard the stories.
Yeah.
And I know they change all the time. But I think for me, what I'm, and it's not the most afraid of, but I'm going to put in inverted commas, I'm most worried about,
Yeah.
is that when the LIV team come from Singapore, they're at Hong Kong at the moment.
Yep.
Next week they're at Singapore, and then the LIV team fly over, and obviously they are experts in this. They've done it for many, many years, and they're going to come over and they're going to change things. We
Yeah.
know that.
Okay.
And it's how much are they going to change?
Got you.
I think for us is that's what we most
Not, I hear
not
what you're
worried,
saying. Not
but
worried.
we most aware of.
Conscious of it.
Conscious, exactly.
Yeah.
Most conscious of what's going to happen because they're gonna make changes. They're gonna have to make changes because they haven't been out as much as what we, you know, obviously we in it
Yes.
every day. So we hand over on the 13th to them. We're going to
Okay.
be ready on the 12th
Okay.
at night. 13th they get it. LIV gets everything, and then the Friday, Saturday, Sunday we will make the changes that they want us to make.
And just on that, when are the players sort of starting to come in?
They'll come in like Sunday and Monday night. So,
Okay.
so
Okay.
because Hong Kong is, I think it's 6 hours ahead of us. They will fly and they'll come in like in the early mornings of Monday morning. So
Okay.
they'll be on site on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel very different when they start getting towards here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've given me some nice, an anticipated hiccup might be that you're conscious that there might be changes.
There
from
will
the
be changes.
13th. There will be
There
changes.
will be
As
changes.
a factual statement.
Yeah, there will be changes.
So, personally, for you, what would success look like by the time the final putt drops, both for the tournament and for South Africa's role in the LIV calendar?
So I took my mom and dad live in Durban, and they in their late 80s, and they've never come. They don't travel anymore, but they're very young 80s. And my brother and I said, Mom, like I've bought a new little house, and my brother's bought a house. My kids have all got their houses. Like, please just come up. We'll pay for you. We'll get you the wheelchair access, and come and see what we're doing. Okay. So I took my mom and dad to Steyn City on Friday, and they both went, wow. Carol, wow. And I think if people can walk away going, wow. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it, like, I'm so worried about the traffic and, you know, getting in and out, and there's 2 roads, and we got the park and ride, and we got Uber, you know, and we know there's still going to be a few traffic, you know, delays. And I hope the awareness of the day doesn't really matter with the traffic. They can just, you know, wait around a little bit. So that's what we want to do. We want LIV to be wowed. We want the players to go wow, and we want the spectators to go wow. I think if we can tick those boxes, we've done
the Southern Guards to win.
And the Southern Guards to win. I mean,
personally, that would be phenomenal.
And I think the pressure on those guys as well is huge. Time. You know, like, so I'm just quickly jumping across.
Please do.
But Dean and Charl came for the media launch, and I was watching them interviewed, and they said that they went to Nedbank Golf Challenge, and that's where they learned the love of this golf, and professional golf. And besides those kids who are playing golf on the Thursday at the tournament, the junior tournament, we're also giving like lots of tickets away to kids who play golf throughout Gauteng as well. And we would love one of those kids who play golf, who play league golf for schools, come to watch on Thursday, and 10 years' time or 6 years' time say the bug bit them at the LIV tournament.
Yes.
We'd love that to happen.
I think I think it would be a great measure of success when both of those things happen.
Yeah.
And sorry, but I also wish congratulations for that moment with your parents as well, because I can imagine that they're special.
Yeah.
You know, 2020, take on a big role that you do, sitting where you are now, and then probably just going, wow, Carol, what an incredible achievement. And we're so super proud for you to be leading this from a South African's perspective.
Yeah.
And I've got no doubt you're going to pull off something incredible for us. The golf tournaments are precision machines, you know, or especially from a viewer's perspective. We don't really see the chaos. But things can also go delightfully wrong.
Yes.
What's one funny, perhaps unexpected moment from past events that you've either learned from or still makes you smile that you're hoping not to repeat?
Oh my word. I actually can't even think of one. How weird is that?
That's okay.
No, it's not okay, because I mean, there's been, I'm not going to say there's been so many, but I'm sure there's been like funny things that happened.
Yes.
That if you put me on the spot, I wouldn't like, you know, obviously rain delays and all that stuff is like that. We can't control that, and those are fun things that happen. Like, you know, there's so much food left over. Okay, well, let's invite the staff to eat, you know, and things like that. But I mean, you know, I think in the big scheme of things, there's like, touch wood, and I'm going to touch wood really. You know, maybe there haven't been like these major things. You know, we've had a winner, and to make sure the ball falls in the hole on the last day, that's the aim of the game, you know.
That's a perfect answer.
I was going to say, like with the ESA Open in Durban last year in the rain and everything fell down, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. We managed it.
With
Dylan,
which also had on the show.
How amazing is that?
How amazing.
Yeah, that was an amazing story.
Amazing story. We are towards the end of this now. So I just wanted to find out from you, it's not part of it, and if you don't want to share it, but the Southern Guards, working close with them on this, they played a major role. And I want to ask you this question, and you can answer it or not.
Okay.
But who was the key people involved to finally make the first calls and start the planning to get LIV to South Africa?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I know Dean very well. Very well is not the right word. I know Dean. He knows who I am through Origin, Vodacom Origins of Golf, and through winning the ESA Open, winning the Swanee Open. It was so funny. When I was tidying up my office at Sale, I found a letter that Dean wrote to me, and I think it was 2015 when he won the Swanee Open. It was one of my first tournaments, and he hand wrote me a letter.
Sure.
And I've actually got that letter. I found it, and I kept it in my new office at home. So I don't know the other guys. I know of them. I know Charl from winning the Joburg Open, but the other guys, I'm aware of them. So I don't know who made that. I mean, I presume it's Louis as the captain.
Yeah.
I'm sure it must be something with Louis and Webb. So when I find out,
you'll let me know.
I will let you know. Yeah, but I think they all had obviously a little bit to do with it.
It normally comes down to a few people pressing the right buttons, asking the right questions, and we're benefiting from that today. So you are Chris is a little bit on the vision side, you on the execution side. The emotion of it will be the fans and us.
Yeah.
And then the fun and humidity, that's going to be on the 4 days or the 5 days that everything is happening, and the story that will be told afterwards about us. But just a few fire questions to you.
Sure.
One, do you have enough brandy?
We have enough branding. We have so much branding, and the branding is so beautiful. It's loud.
He was asking about brandy.
Oh, brandy.
Yeah.
So they said branding.
That's okay. It's going to work perfectly.
I thought you said brandy. We do have enough
Have we
brandy.
got enough brandy?
We have definitely. We've been told. I know that you guys like to drink brandy, so we've definitely got enough brandy.
Yes.
We've definitely got enough brandy.
And
champagne for the ladies.
Exactly, and champagne for the ladies. Just a little bit. But, I mean, is the houses rented out at Steyn City? The hotel, I know, has been packed for a while. I'm fortunate to book very early, about a year ago.
Yeah.
But it must be just fully packed.
Yeah.
A lot of the people have hired out their houses,
Yeah.
and the hotel, that's the main accommodation, sort of what
Correct.
they've set down. And they've built more, obviously, for preparation of LIV Golf. Okay, you've told us a little bit about the ground and from a visitor's perspective, what we can expect and see. Toughest personalities you had to manage during this tournament?
I haven't been exposed to those yet.
Okay.
It's LIV is a very big, loud organisation, and they know what they want.
Okay.
So that's what we're managing now first.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
Okay.
They know what we want. They know what they want. We know what we have to deliver. So at the moment, we're navigating a new client.
Yeah.
For me, I'm navigating a new client. So we haven't learned that. We haven't been exposed to those celebrities just yet. I'm sure we will. 100% we will. And again, something I could talk about next time.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And just a quick question, do you know why Steyn? You've obviously got George, you've got Pinnacle Point, you've got Pearl Valley.
Yeah. I've heard a few stories, and I just think that's, Steyn City maybe pushed it a little harder. They really wanted it.
Okay.
They really put their hand up. I won't say first, because a lot of people put their hands up, and there's a lot of people still putting their hands up, and they still want it.
Yeah.
But I think when Ross and Chris and all them, the guys came out there, and Stephen, the CEO, was so welcoming, and they saw how much space is available for the first tournament.
Yeah.
I think that was the reason why it was chosen to be
And
Steyn
you've got
City.
Lanseria, which has to play a role, because a lot of private planes are landing.
Yeah.
You've got the logistics and the hotel accommodation and restaurant perspective.
Yeah.
Where something like George, as an example, I mean, obviously incredible, and same with Pearl Valley, but it is a
Cape
bit
Town.
isolated.
Yeah.
Cape Town and Pinnacle Point, the same thing. The
Yeah.
accommodation is just not the same,
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of visitors and the restaurant capacity. I mean, there's big, but it isn't as segmented around Steyn City, because you are also in the heart of Fourways, which obviously carries a lot of that infrastructure.
Yeah, I mean, Monte Casino's obviously sold out.
Another one, yeah.
City Lodge is sold out, and
Correct.
Darba's sold out.
Yeah.
Every hotel is sold out. And that's just LIV staff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's
operations.
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 Yeah.
And obviously, Steyn City, the Saxons sold out. The players and the caddies stay there.
Yeah.
We've had a few. The players have had a few golf houses on the golf course, like you said. But you won't find a room anywhere in Fourways.
No.
You're now going out to Sandton and Rosebank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Carol, I mean, we can sit here and speak to you for a long time.
So could I.
But we know you've got a large calendar. We've taken even more time than what we promised you we would. But we bless your hands and all the staff and all the operations people, everybody that's involved in all of this. We are so grateful for LIV Tournament and for the investment fund to take the opportunity and bring it to South Africa. And to those that have made this happen, and thank you for putting up this incredible show. And just to the visitors and everybody going on the day, really embrace it for the day. Make sure that you're there early, but it's also time. Let's get a little bit hyped up.
Yes.
Let's help them for the day day that your social media is shareable. We have to show the spirit of the South African golfer and the people of South Africa, because a huge percentage of the people going there are non-golfers.
Correct.
And I have no doubt that the international visitors are going to walk away and say, we are friendly, we are helpful, we are incredibly passionate about what we do, but we are also well behaved and when the time comes.
And respectful.
And respectful at what we do, So thank you very much, Carol, for taking the time to come here. Congratulations on your journey to where it brought you today. And also to personally, to Thomas and the Sunshine Tour for releasing you in order to take this opportunity with full hands, because it doesn't come around often.
No.
And I cannot even believe there's a hint of possibility for next year.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for your time today.
No, goodness, it's a pleasure, and it's my pleasure. And there's so much I could have spoken about more. And when you're talking, I go, I didn't mention, the fact that so many people are coming to the tournament who aren't golfers, and so many youngsters.
Yeah.
And, there's another thing that I'm going to quickly mention is that there's a thing called the family fairways on the first. And it's a whole dedicated area on the first fairway where moms and dads and kids can play. The players walk past them, and it's for free to, if you bought tickets. So they've made it so accessible for the family. It's about the family as well as obviously, the die-hard golfer who's going to follow Bryson or follow John Rahm or follow the Southern Guards.
Yeah.
But it's been my pleasure, and I just love it, and I just hope that everyone takes our enthusiasms, yours and mine, to buy the tickets. There's not many left. 4,000 tickets.
And Carol, the thing that what's so different for me, and doing this homework and really trying to embrace myself for it as well, is that I'm going to say it. The PGA Tour feels like it's a tournament within a tournament for the fans. So the fans almost create a separate experience to the tournament, because it is a little bit more in distance.
Correct.
LIV Golf is developed and created with the fans at the forefront. You can see them, almost touch and feel them. Obviously you can't touch and feel them, but it feels like it's right there. Everything is built around making it inclusive, not feeling like you're sitting on, behind the ropes the whole time.
Correct.
And that's something that's very unique to LIV compared to the PGA Tour. Make it incredibly
and
fun.
loud.
And loud.
Yeah, loud.
And loud.
Let's make it bigger than Adelaide.
Yeah.
We have to make it bigger than
We have to make it bigger than
So the
Adelaide.
capacity we can't this year because we need to restrict
but from
but
a Gears
the Gears and the
perspective,
spirit.
yes.
But next year we definitely, let's hope, hold fingers and thumbs that
It's going to be a
will,
talking point.
Yeah.
That's going to be massive.
It is
I'm
going
going
to
to
be
hear
massive.
everything from my house.
Yeah, Forest Gardens. You're going to be
you
just
will.
around the corner
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah.
I'm not too far away from you, but I'll definitely hear a bit less. But I'm going to be there all 4 days. I've booked my entire calendar. Literally, people that phone me for meeting go, we were told not around that time period.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
So you're on a course.
I'm on the course. I'm on the course, legitimately.
Yeah.
Well, thank you once again,
No, it's a
Carol,
pleasure,
and all the
guys.
best to you. And thank you
you.
for the time today and for Jess putting this together as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.